Welcome to the Imperfect Dads Podcast. This is your host, Devin. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to follow them on Instagram or go to the website neverafacenetwork.com. On this episode, we have on Todd Millenacker from the kids band Todd and Tina. We talked about being in charge of a logistics and shipping company, stability a job can bring, kids getting ready to go to college, running ultramarathons, life in Minnesota, writing jingles for Little Caesars, how we formed Todd and Tina, enjoying playing kids music, and how he finds writing lyrics fun and writing songs about dinosaurs. Before we start, I did want to mention that Todd had trouble getting his mic to connect, so I'd use his laptop mic. Some of the audio in this is a little bit louder and distorted from time to time, so apologies for any audio quality concerns. Just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad.
I guess first question to ask you is I know you did kids music. Are you a dad also? Do you have kids?
Yes, I've got two kids. I've got an eighth grader and a junior. So
Nice.
I'm starting to see the end of the tunnel.
Oh, man, how's that? I mean, you still got a good 4 or 5
Right.
years, right? Before you're empty nesters and all that. How's it? I mean, my oldest is 10, so they aren't even in middle school yet. How's it feel to know you will have a kid soon who's going to enter into college and high school round 2 and all that
You know what's
stuff?
funny is that some days you're kind of like, oh, I'm going to miss that. But then there's that natural, once they get to be 16, 17, they're not quite as concerned about you. And they have their own world and their own life. And every once in a while, she freaks out and this or that. And I'm just looking at my wife. I'm like, oh, where are they moving out? I know we're not supposed to say that because we're supposed to miss them.
Yeah.
I'm ready. It's been 17 years for my daughter. And
Yeah.
years ago, you think all of a sudden they're gone and you spend all your whole focus of your life. You said you got a 10-year-old oldest?
So I have a 10-year-old daughter, 8-year-old daughter, and he'll be 5 pretty
Yeah.
soon, son. So yeah, we're still in they still want my approval. They still want to talk to us.
Yeah.
And I know in 5 years, our world will look drastically different.
Yeah, right now, my son's he's still pretty good. Actually, both of my kids are pretty good hangs, but at the same time, you kind of want your space. And I remember putting on Little Mermaid, just hoping my daughter would fall asleep, or so I can take a nap. Put anything on the
Yeah.
I can take a nap, and now I don't have that problem where I'm like, I gotta find out what to do. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, do I dare talk to her? Is she gonna freak out about something? Because
Yeah.
when I was 17, did I really want to hang out with my parents? No. So I think we're even talking to our kids more these days than our parents talk to us. I
Yep.
always thought my parents just kind of existed in this different realm, and they come
Mhm.
back to serve me, and then it was solipsism at its finest, right? That
Yep.
was your whole life. But now you kind of realize they got their own life, and even
Mhm.
when I'm listening to music, I'll be talking to my daughter about Taylor or Olivia's new single, and it's
Mhm.
does it make me cooler or does it make Taylor and Olivia less cool?
I don't know. I
I
don't know.
talked to a gal that was obsessed, a girl that was obsessed with Zach Bryan, and I'm like, I like Zach
Mhm.
Bryan. I'm like, what about with you? And we think I'm cool, I'm hip, and she's like, I gotta delete all the songs from my catalog.
No.
Like,
See, I always want to do if they're give them their reference points. Be like, oh, here's this Olivia Rodrigo song. I'm like, oh, this sounds just like a Paramore song. And they're like, what's Paramore? And I'm like, it's Haley. And then I'm like, well, do they care that much? Because I've listened to enough music where I can tell the influences, and then I want to share the influence.
Yeah, on you've heard it obviously. Her first record,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, that's the Pump It Up riff, and then
Yeah.
there's a breakdown with the crazy synths, and I'm like, best
Yeah.
stripes icky thump.
Yes.
I play it for him. She's
Yep.
just like, I don't care. Elvis Costello's credit, I think he was well aware of that, and he even said, there's only so many notes in music.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's where my nerdy dad music brain goes. It's oh, here's who they're referencing. Here's who inspired them. Because that's what I will do whenever I listen to music is oh my gosh, how do I go back to the early stuff? I want to track their progression and how do they get to where they are? And my kids are like, I like this song. And I'm like, Okay.
You know,
Sounds
have
good.
you know like the song machine about the whole pop song industry yet throughout like the 2000s, like 95 through about 2010? Anyway, this
No.
guy driving around with his son, and he heard a Kesha song on the radio, and he went into the whole mechanics of the Swedish songwriters. He want
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
song machine, and like it talks about the way Ace of Base came to be known because actually their tape got stuck in the car of Dennis Pop
Seriously?
of one well ABBA, not ABBA, Ace of Base,
Yeah.
and on some Backstreet Boys and all these things. And yeah, the guy goes on a whole research trip to Sweden and check out Max Martin's studio and all that.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Check it out. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah. No,
I go deep on all that stuff, and nobody cares.
no. Okay, I'll suggest one podcast to you. Have you ever heard of my buddy Dan Nornheim does it. It's called Life of the Record. Have you ever heard of this podcast?
No.
Okay, so he goes with like whenever it's like a band's like 20th, 25th, 30th or something like that anniversary of an album, he like basically does a call with them and they talk about what the entire energy of that album was and then they go track by track to describe what the album was. So like he's had on the Violent Femmes, Big Star, and like a bunch of bands like that where he's just like, yeah, let's just talk about your album, what your energy was making it and go track by track. And like those details are like, yeah, I live for it. I don't know why. But here I am, like fascinated deeply by all
I know,
of it.
and you realize also when they were doing it, it wasn't quite this revolutionary process. I love the Smashing Pumpkins, and then like
Yeah.
Billy Corgan revisit Melancholy. I was like, wow, I was thinking of three parts. Like, no, you weren't. You're just trying to fill space, and and
Yep.
so sometimes, and that's what I like country music. I don't go deep on the artist, and I can just enjoy it for what it is. But then with
Yeah.
pop music or rock music, I'll go and like read everything about the making of, like
Mhm.
I'll read like every They Might Be Giants or Elvis Costello interview imaginable,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
know it all,
Yep.
and it's this crystallized knowledge that no one cares about. I know about it, and I'll bore people with like I
Yep.
teach I teach guitar over at my kid's school just to get them playing guitar for an elective.
Yeah.
And, I'll talk about the way, like, Sweet Child of Mine or Sweet Child of Mine. And I'm like, it wasn't recorded with a click and they had to rewind the tape and Slash had to, like, get it. So if you notice when the band comes in, they actually speed up. And
Yep.
I'm just like,
Yeah. 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 See, yeah. Did you ever listen to Dinosaur Jr.?
I'm aware of them, obviously, with my
Okay.
never huge.
Yeah. Yes. I think their lead guitarist is like that also,
Yeah.
where he's just like, people are like, how'd you do this? How'd you write this beautiful guitar line? He's like, no, like he's not classically trained
Yeah.
in any way. He just felt it, did the track, and then moved on. And you're just like, cool, I am so much more regimented and like, here's how I do a solo. Here's how I do
Yeah.
I'm not good at listening to jam bands because I don't know how to play. Like, I don't know how to be in the vibe. I don't know how to be in the zone. I know how to technically do something and that's about it.
Yeah, and I mean, everything has its purpose. Like, I'll go into like EDM for a bit and be really,
Yeah.
I'll listen to it for a while, and then after a while, I just think I just need a song. I need a chorus.
Right.
I figured out all of Ben Mouse's catalog, and you just pick up on things and you make your notes. You're like, oh, that's where he does
Yeah.
that, and Mouse does that.
Yep.
It's fun music
Yep.
nerd stuff.
Yeah, that's what I do for like whenever my kids listen to music and stuff. If like because they've gotten really into like Descendants and Zombies and those like Disney teen pop shows and movies that like I personally can't stand. But like so if we have to listen to the song like 20 times, I'm like, okay, what's the bass line? What's the backing track here? And then I'm like, how do I focus on this? Because if I don't, then I'm gonna go crazy because I don't like
Yeah,
these songs at
you
all.
know, Julia Michaels, you got issues writing to. Do you remember that song from a couple of years ago?
No, I don't. No, yeah.
She actually got to start writing for Disney.
Cool.
I
Yeah.
now like I haven't heard it because I haven't had the interest, but like the K-pop,
Yeah.
this thing is like kicking
Yes.
off with. I don't know. There's some whole songs, even like Teen Beach Movie or like Who's It
Yep.
and all that. Like, okay, they got, I can appreciate a good hit.
Yep.
And actually, I kind of like Ellie and AJ. I think during COVID, my kids watched it on repeat to the point my
Yeah.
son will be like, "That's in episode 5, on season 4." I'm like,
Yeah.
like, whatever. Hey, it's what's important.
That's awesome. What's your full-time job?
That's a trade brokerage business. So moving trucks,
Cool. Yeah.
stuff. I've been doing that for 25 years and things and those. And that also gives me the freedom to go do music on the side and
Yeah.
got a good little office here with
Nice.
7 or 8 employees, something like that.
Yeah. I talked to a guy yesterday. He was in a band called Smokin' Popes, and his kids are grown. They're out of the house, and he's a school bus driver now. Gets them out of the house. It's a very flexible schedule. It has summers off, and it's like I think like a younger version of myself would be like, oh, why would you do that job? And it's like it's a lot of stability. Hell yeah, that's great.
Well, and I mean, I've been doing this for 25 years. I finished college and fell into this whole thing. It would for a while you want to like climb your way up because the
Yep.
illusion of like, oh, whatever, success, flying quotation marks. And now I'm just like, you work because you got to put food on the table, you got to pay the bills. And
Yep.
given the choice if something falls apart with this, I'm like, I'm going to go find a job that's I shouldn't say no brainer because everybody's job has something. That's
Yeah.
something where
Yeah.
I'd love to just like walk around Home Depot and misdirect people. And I'll be like, where's pain? And I will, I'll say confidently, fine. And then I go to aisle 7 and I'll be completely lying. And they'll be like, that guy back there, he's an idiot. He's like, Todd, that's the way you get.
I would want to do my next level obnoxiousness would be say an aisle number that isn't an aisle number in the store. Like, oh, it's aisle 75. I'll stop at 60. And just have them walk around and be like I said in the 70s, right? Like that would be, but that's too much. You can't do it. But to me, that would be
It
hilarious.
would be funny. That's a good idea. Yeah. Or, no, 8, 17. Well, you gotta find the 8 first, yeah. Right? Yeah. I let it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, so it's been good. I can't complain. Very fortunate, but it's just kind of like at the same time, you're not gonna find me on LinkedIn after this gig is done.
Yep. Well, I mean, because it's like I think getting older, I have started to realize like stability matters more to me than like the having like a career where I'm like, look how impressive this is. It's like actually showing up every day, doing your job and treating people well is a really impressive thing to do. So do focus on that instead.
Well, I know, and that's where it's like, I don't know. It's just that's a whole business podcast if you want to talk about.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's sadly there are always factors, and it's never quite as easy as what you think it should be.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like you were taught one thing, you're expected to believe one thing. You go to school, you get an education, you do this, and then you realize there's all these other factors at play.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
yeah, I don't want to get into all that because then it'll turn into something where I'll say something that I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Why do
No, you're getting.
things are much more complicated than what you're taught to believe, and that's where I'm always like, when I
Correct.
was a kid, I wanted to be a garbage man, and still part of me is just like, again, nothing wrong with garbage man at all, and I'm just like, yeah,
No.
I think I had it right, and I've been off track all this time.
It's a lot to untangle. You have like your own ego in there. You have your own like personal social expectations and everything. And if anything, hey, it sounds like you're at a place where like you're like, hey, I'm able to support my family. I'm able to have mental space to make music and like be around for my kids. And that's a good value to have in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, it is. And especially like when you run a business, all of a sudden you've got these other responsibilities like employees and personalities. And again, you got a
Yep.
great setup, but at the same time, it's not as easy as just saying, yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. My my wife works a pretty high level, high stress job, and she always has like the moments of like, what if I just like did retail for a year? What if I just like ran a cash register? The income would not be what I would want it to be, but like imagine the simplicity of just showing up, doing one thing, and then going home and leaving it all
I
behind.
know, but then
Huh.
I know, and then it's just a like pipe dream, and are you thinking like, okay,
Yep.
I feel easy
Yeah.
after a while, or would I? Yeah, it could be awesome too.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
Right. With your kids getting older and everything, do you know if your oldest kid is going to go to college yet? Have you guys started having discussions about that?
Yeah, she wants to go. I absolutely am like, do what you want. I say take a year off.
Mhm.
Actually, I keep saying I'm half kidding, but I'm half serious. I'm like, if you go to college, and I'm a big runner, so I'm like, you go to college and you don't like it. One of my goals is to run across America, and I say, you
Yeah.
can go and drive the van I'll go, you're free to do what you want on the day, just move me 30 miles up the street and I'll buy you dinner every day. So, like,
That's not
I
bad.
could be 4 months sojourning across America. Oh, yeah, she's planning on it. And one of the things going haywire for her, I think she'll want to hang out with her old man and do that.
That's cool. Well, I do think kind of like you're alluding to earlier is like, I'm intrigued to see when my kids get older for college, what college looks like. Cause I definitely also had the same thought of like, I need to go to college so I can get the degree, so I can so I can do all these
Yeah.
steps. And it doesn't seem that clear anymore, unless like you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or something like that. So college, I feel like has a different meaning than it did when we were
I was
growing
a
up.
philosophy major with a Latin major.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what am I going to do with that? I don't know, working at a freight brokerage company.
Yep.
But it's kind of like, yeah, you're expecting. And now, even information has gotten so, it's everywhere. Well, you have to tell, and
Yeah.
this dates me, but I just talk about the way there was like those Mac bubble computers with the blue and
Mhm.
orange, and that was state of the art
Yep.
at the U of M. And we're like, oh, you got
Yeah.
this Ethernet thing, and now everybody's got that in
Mhm.
their phone, and if you need something, you just look it up, and it's just thinking, and yeah, I mean, if I went back to school, if I were starting it all over again, I'd probably go to be a doctor.
Yeah.
One rheumatologist. I would all
Really?
because I mean, you get the right hours. It's a lot of school, and you get paid
Mhm.
well. I mean, it's like a $300,000 to $500,000 a year job. I'm told. You get all school,
Yeah.
and then you also like. I mean, it's a dermatologist. You pop pimples all day. How awesome! How awesome is that? Like, why get angry people about
Yeah.
how dare you? What?
Yeah. How dare? Yeah. Yeah. I forgot to tell you about the contingency of dermatologists that listen to this podcast. I forgot to tell you.
They're too busy making money and going on expensive vacations to have time to worry about that.
Right. No, it does feel, I'll be very fascinated whenever my oldest is even ready for college, how she'll approach it. Because, yeah, it's just a different world. It's a very different world. And to me, like, my brother, like, is a college professor and everything. So is my sister-in-law, and I have a brother-in-law who's a college professor. And they've always kind of indicated, like, if you have a college degree, what that kind of means nowadays is like you showed up, figured out what you needed to do, and you got it done. So it's almost like, to me, it feels almost like you understood the process and were able to complete the process, which honestly is a skill set that you use in your career. So it's not a bad thing to learn.
No, it's not. And but again, once you're on the inside and you've seen it, you're kind of like, okay, I know how sausages are made. Isn't quite it's like, oh wow. I mean, once someone will be fine about being a doctor, and everybody's like, oh, he's a doctor. And you're like,
Yeah.
friends that are doctors, you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a friend who's a
Yep.
dentist, and he's just like, I shouldn't say just, but he wanted to be a mechanic, and he's like, I should have just go back.
Yeah.
Like, why did I do this? And I mean,
Yep.
that's the stuff you look back and you figure out after the fact, which is a
Mhm.
bummer.
It
You
is.
got to live your life once and then do it again. And as a parent, you try and tell your kids these things, but they don't want to hear it. They're just, you're old,
They don't.
you're old and out of touch, and you got to make your own mistakes too.
Yeah, you do. But I do think like one thing I think like the newer generation, if you will, of parents is doing is like, I feel like trying to let kids into their mental space a little bit more of like, hey, here's what it looks like to have this career. Here's what it means to do this day in and day out. Where I feel like, yeah, our parents are more like, hey, I'm doing this job because I love you guys. I want to support you. So let me take care of this and da-da-da. And it's like, oh, actually, what was that like for you? What was your mental space like that for you? Like, and now I feel like parents are, or at least I know my parents are willing to discuss like, oh, here's what it was like for us whenever we had 3 kids. What's it like for you guys? Like, it's a two-way conversation, but like, that's because we did the work to put into the relationship in which we can talk about the realities of being parents, even though I'm the subject matter for them, you know?
No, yeah, but it's commerce, and I mean, it's the same thing, though. They also say, like, nobody grows up and dreams of opening a dry cleaning place. And
Yep.
and it's logical thing, and maybe there are people that really are passionate about dry cleaning.
Yeah.
It's too. I mean, at this point, 25 years into freight brokerage, I'm not like,
Yeah.
let's move some trucks today. I mean, all right, I shouldn't disparage it because it's totally legit. But we just figure these things out.
Yep. Nope. And I think that's the reality of like, how does anyone end up? I think that's one thing that's like, will be interesting to try to teach my kids is like, you'll end up where you end up. So like, be good to people, be kind to people, because like, honestly, I don't know what career you're going to have. I don't know what state you're going to live in. But what I do know is treat people well, be kind to them, and be a decent, if you say you're going to do something, like all those basic lessons that are really hard to follow through on, is like, you're going to turn into whatever you turn into. Be a decent person. And that's more what I care about than like, live here, do this.
Oh yeah, well, it's like Warren Buffett has that quote that says you work your whole lifetime and it takes one bad decision or 5 minutes to destroy your reputation. I mean, you do
Yep.
one bad thing.
Yep.
And then it's also trying to ingrain the idea of, I mean, how much is a dollar really worth to you if you do it under bad circumstances? Like, do
Yeah.
I really
Yep.
want $1 if I got it under questionable circumstances? And
Yep. Pretty
that's
much.
one of those things you can say only when you're fortunate enough to have a dollar.
Correct. Yes.
But
Yes.
that's where it's like, that's where I always see you trip yourself up because you can have these self-evident truths to say like, well, yeah, of course everybody should do that. But you know what? If your kid's starving, maybe you're not quite as concerned about the moral justification of whatever. So, I mean, those are those things that, I mean, I read a lot and you'll just learn these things and you try and impart some wisdom. You hope something goes through.
Mhm.
But then at the same
Yeah.
time, I look at stuff I thought 2 years ago and I'm like, I was an idiot. And that's 2 years ago, let alone a few more than that, right?
Yep. Pretty much. I think my hope is always to be if my kids are like, why did you say this like 2 years ago? I'd be like, that's who I was back then. If I was an idiot, here's my moment to admit, I'm sorry I was so stupid that I thought this was correct. Now that I have more information, I'm sorry I am who I am. And this,
Yeah, well, now unfortunately, it's whatever you say, there's so many counter arguments on everything.
yeah.
And I mean, it's both good and bad because it used to be so like this is right, this is wrong.
Yep.
And now if you dig into stuff, I like the idea of not really weighing in on an opinion unless you actually know both sides and you can argue the other side. You can
Yes.
stronger than what you can. It's also unfortunate because it gives me a lot of agnostic, like, I don't know, views.
Yep.
And which is not nothing anybody wants to hear in the world. It's like, well, I could argue this just to be contrarian. Like,
Mhm.
you know, that's what I always joke in Minnesota. It's like, whatever it is, I'm against it, but then I go to South Dakota, I'm exactly against that. Like, whatever it is, just as
Mhm.
people are so passionate, and then, but at the same time, it's like, that's not the way to be either, because
It's not.
and it's
Yeah.
your time just to argue a case, just to go, like, yeah, I'll get my point.
Yeah.
So,
I think, yeah, I think when someone seems like their entire identity is like, this has to be right, this has to be accurate, then I'm like, now I have to poke fun at you because like you're taking this so seriously, which I'm glad you're passionate about something, but like there's other ways to view the world. And then I also get into like the almost too agnostic, like, but who knows if anything is a and I'm just like, dude, that's too much. You gotta zoom in a little bit. You're too zoomed out.
you
You're
know,
too zoomed out.
I was proud. My daughter did a sophomore paper on if our reality is computer simulation. So I'm like, all right, some of my ramblings have worked their way into the mind, and even the English teacher was like, I don't know what you're talking
What?
about.
You raised your daughter on the Matrix. You just said her, here's your babysitter for the day.
No, yeah, it wasn't even that. It was actually more about all this new computer simulation stuff. And then you went on those rabbit holes, and then after a while, you're like, well, why would it be? And what difference does it make, even if it is? Like,
Pretty
I
much.
think that was one thing I realized, like I mentioned, a philosophy major back in college. And when I was time debating this or that, and then after a while, you're like, you know what? I'm hungry. I want a burrito.
Yep.
I still want a burrito with some cheese and maybe a Diet Coke.
Yeah, would be great.
Like, doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I remember taking like philosophy classes in college and come to like the debate part of it. And I always felt like it was just it was more about ego than about curiosity. It was always like, well, have you read this book? And it's like, no, I haven't read that book. Well, if you did, you'd understand. And I'm like, well, I don't. So I don't understand. So where's that? So you win? Like what the, have fun winning and not in this conversation dying right now.
I know. And then to back around to life and jobs and all that, it's like, for better or worse, in a capitalist society, it's kind of like, well, whoever makes the most money ends up winning. Or not, I should say, to a point, because lying to money to eat and live your life that you want. Again, it gets to the point where it's greed, it's excess, blah, blah, blah. But once you get to a point where you can take care of yourself, you can afford the basics, what more do you need? I mean, like, it's just a matter of opinion and what's important to you.
I think one thing I hope to be able to teach my kids is how much defining things for yourself matters. So like, what's wealth? Well, what do you think wealth is to you? What's success? What do you think success is to you? Because everyone around you is going to tell you what this definition is, but the one that you believe in is the one you're actually going to live by. So let's develop that definition because everyone around you is going to tell you what success is. But if it doesn't but if you don't care, don't chase it. So just figure out what you think that answer is.
Exactly. And move out of my house at some point, right?
And maybe I'd like my basement back. That'd be great. Thank you.
But by the time I go to senior living, you will then I'm like, we'll just take it over, Dad. And you're like, oh, fine. Just
Oh, that's fine.
yeah, that's cool.
So we're still, since our kids are still so young, like we're still at the like point of like for us to go on a date or something like that,
Yeah.
we've got to get the sitter, we've got to pay for the sitter and all of that. I would imagine your kids are almost to the age where you're just like, hey, your mom and I are going to go out to dinner.
Yeah.
Don't burn down the house and we'll be back later. Is that true? Is that what phase of life you're in right now?
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Oh man.
Like when I was 17 and driving, so you get the
Yeah.
vendor and those types of things. So you're still kind of like,
Yeah.
none of the worst with the iPhone, you can track where they are, which
Yeah.
it's good in the sense if something happens, but then at the same time, it's also like, my parents didn't know where I was. And
Yep.
at the same time, the world was smaller. I stuck in my hometown, like it was
Yep.
the 8-mile radius, and I didn't get on a highway or anything. It was just like that was my world. The world's expanded. It's both good and bad, but then I'm also consider like, okay, I figured it out, and they got to figure out these things themselves, right?
Mhm.
Fly away,
Yep.
something like that. I don't know. We're still navigating it. Trying to bite my lip as much as possible and let them do what they're gonna do.
Yeah. I think that is one of the hardest things of being a parent. And whatever age your kids are, I feel like you experience it because you watch your kids start to take a step and you're like, you're going to fall. You're going to fall. Please don't do that. Please don't. You're really close to the edge. And like, reminding yourself like you're supposed to be the safe space and safe environment for your kid to take risks, to trust stuff, to know that you'll catch them when they fall is really, to know that that's loving them and teaching them is like still really hard because you still want them to experience pain and discomfort.
But they have to. I mean,
They have to.
it's par for the course. That's how you learn. And unfortunately,
It is.
so
Yep.
I know. So it's kind of that transition of just like letting them do their thing without really too much of an egg. But they'll get annoyed by us, and hopefully, by 22 or something, they'll come back around.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Hopefully.
If not, I'll have some money for charity.
That's right. Yeah. We haven't talked about like kids music yet. Tell me about like your kids band and how you got that started and everything.
Oh, well, actually, I've always done music. That was like my love in high school, back at 15, 16, I was doing that stuff. And then I did some bands throughout college where I toured and all that fun stuff.
Cool.
And,
Yeah.
we get our week of vacation and we put a U-Haul on the trailer and play as many shows as we could all around the United States. And we went from Minnesota to South Carolina and
Cool.
and then as I got a little older, I kept doing music, of course. And then actually when my kids were probably 5 and 8, or maybe even a little younger than that, I fell into jingle writing, actually. So I kept the music.
Cool.
And actually, this is a fun story. We were at this one place, family vacation, a couple families, and we went to Metropolis, which was like this, adventure, fun park, whatever. And they had a pizza eating challenge. And it was 2 adults eat a 30-inch pizza in 1 hour, and you get a free pizza and a shirt. And, and I was like, my buddy and I were looking at each other, and we're like, you want to do this? You want to do this?
I got this.
Yeah. We got this. We went to manage. You're like, well, it's 2.5 large Dominoes apiece. We can do this.
You were doing the logistics of the pizza into the mouth.
So we did that, and at the time, so we're like, yeah, let's do it. And the calm before the storm, the kids were like, maybe it was 4 and 7 or whatever. I'd have to look.
Yeah.
And we're doing this, and they're slowly eating, and the high school girl was sitting at the table with a timer, just watching us. What a high school girl wouldn't want to do that? Watch old guys eat pizza.
Yeah, it's great. It's a daydream.
He got green olive. He was a smart one, and I got pepperoni. And he was putting it down, and this is what a good friend he was. After he finished, he actually finished all his before mine. Probably he was done with about 30 minutes, and he had his whole half done. And I was still looking away. I was maybe at like the 2 pizza mark, maybe 1 3/4 pizza, or just 3 pizza. And my buddy is such a good buddy. Like he's like, we're gonna win this, and he started eating my half and all that. And then I could start to feel like pepperoni in my throat and all that. And like, I was
Yeah.
like, well, actually, my wife was like shaking a bucket. And
No.
I was like, "Oh, I'm glad." And then like, good. Now I'm walking around, and then the girl's like, "Oh, 5 minutes left." And one was about 9 pieces left. It was like,
God,
wow.
yeah. Just spewed everywhere.
And so that was sad. And then my buddy just pushed the pizza away. The whole friends had gathered around, like, "Oh my God, these are gods. Like, nobody's done this for 5 years."
Yeah.
And it was wild. But so we're back at the hotel, and my buddy's wife is like, you got a couple pizza babies in your belly. And I was like, "That's funny." And I wrote a song called Pizza Babies. Pizza, pizza, so nice to meet you. When I saw you at the party that day, you were thick, you were thin. I knew I was gonna win. Anyways, one night it's just
Yeah.
well, I wrote the song and I recorded it, and I actually sent it to Little Caesars through littlecaesarslistas.com.
Yeah.
All the time, I've always been like, "Oh, this is the one that's gonna do it," to my wife. So I sent it on a Friday. On a Wednesday, she gets a phone call because I put my home address on there, and you'll never think anything's gonna get there. And
Yeah.
he was like, "Is Todd there?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Well, this is Walt Fredrickson, the senior VP of marketing at Little Caesars." And
What?
she's like, "You heard of the song?" And started saying, "Pizza, pizza." So, and she's like, "Are you kidding?" And she started talking about how much she loves Little Caesars pizza. And so, and anyways, and he's like, "Well, call me." So I call him at his office in Detroit, and he's like, Todd, it's a hit. It's a hit." And I'm like, "Why do I sent this to littlecaesarslistens.com. Like, you think it's a bot even back then."
Yeah.
He was like, "Here's the thing, I'm gonna need you to change some lyrics." I'm like, "That's cool. This isn't Dark Side of the Moon. I can live with that.
Yeah, you're good.
What
Yeah.
do you want for it?" And like, don't people go to school to learn how to do marketing? Well, anyways, I actually worked it all out. They sent me a contract. I had to go back and forth with lawyers and whatnot. I had a lawyer to defend my song, and I developed this relationship with them. And I actually ended up writing like 8 jingles for Little Caesars, which is awesome. Like, I was on, my kids would see it on TV, and they're like, I thought you were going to be on like the after hours things, and we'd be watching Ellen Game of Games. And like, "Dad, it's your song. It's your song."
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, and I use that to springboard into other jingle opportunities, because once you have that on your resume, it's like,
then you're good.
legit, and nothing makes you more legit than one person saying you're legit.
Pretty much.
That seems to be the way it goes. But anyways, I did all that, and then fast forward to get to the Todd and Tina stuff. Fast forward, I was working with Cool Seeders, Tina and Todd and Tina, with some jingles, because I have about 3 notes I can hit most of the time. And I needed to do some jingles for car washes and stuff like that. So I needed a female voice, and she's an elementary music teacher, a friend of mine. And I had her come sing on some jingles to, build my resume. And during COVID, I started just writing these goofy songs. Actually, I went on a road trip with my family to South Dakota. And I kept hearing the presidents of the United States of America, back then.
Of course.
Speeches. And then I got back home, and I kept hearing them like, what's this? And then I'm like, what are they even up to? And I looked them up. Kristen Liu is a children's musician. It's kind of like, I checked out his stuff, and I was like, wait a second. I'm like, this isn't that much different than the jingles I'm doing now. If I'm singing. So I think what happens is when you're young, you're very passionate about everything. I gotta, my heart's breaking. I gotta tell you how I feel. You're older, and you're like, even if I'm passionate, it's going to take 6 months to a year for the song to even come out. I'm not going to feel the same. I started writing these goofy songs. One of my one song called Dermatologist Astronaut, because I actually, after doing dermatology, I went to the dermatologist. And I should have been a dermatologist. That would have been like the best job. And then, like, I was watching a documentary at schools, and I said to my wife, I'm like, I should have been an astronaut. And she's like, you should be a dermatologist astronaut. And I'm like,
nice.
Voila. The song was born. And then so I said, I had lots of silly ideas. And then I had Chrissy come over and record some. This was kind of during COVID or at the end of COVID. And we just put together this thing. And we're like, okay, well, we got 10 songs. Let's see where it goes. Put it out. And then we just played farmers markets the first year. And then we've just been building constantly. And that was pretty cool, because like we had 30 shows booked up this summer in January. And it's like, I
Nice.
mean, she's a teacher, so we're kind of at her schedule.
Yeah.
And I'm more than happy to
Yeah.
disappear for more. It's been this slow building now. This is our 5th summer. We've put out, there we go. I got to track 4 records already.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so it's just been this fun thing, and it's just learning to interact with kids. And the fun thing is, it's well, they're very involved in this song,
Yes.
but it's also fun because I can still make pop songs that I think are good pop songs.
Yeah.
Whereas it was stuff that I think is important in pop, but there's not quite the emotional. I mean, you can write a goofy song about a spooky cat, like spooky cat, spooky cat, meow, meow. And like, it's fun. And the kids are really into it. And at the same time, I can get what I want out of it, which is a well-constructed pop song.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Casey with the kids, I should say Tina, she's got the teacher vibe, so she knows how to interact with them. Because, like, even I'm an old guy. The kid just
Yeah.
go to his house to look at his salamander after a show, and I'm just like, what am I supposed to say? And I think it helps, too, to have that off balance of, like,
Yeah.
you got this friendly, fun woman there, and I can be after
Yeah.
doing my thing and chime in and my
Yeah.
inane comments to say my goofy stuff and write my goofy stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been a good balancing act, but yeah, it just kind of keeps going, and it's fun just to see where it's led. I mean, we got
Yeah.
Kids Place Radio, Kids Place Live on Sirius Radio, so that was fun, and we've been featured in the local papers. It keeps showing up on local
That's
papers.
awesome.
And it's kind of now it's just a question of how far we want to jump in, because obviously there's only X amount of money in music to do it, and we have careers,
Yeah.
and it's now it's just the question of, okay, how far do we want to take it? And we have a great time doing it. We get along really well, and mine's just this fun thing, and because of that, my jingle thing's kind of taking a back seat because I've been so busy doing this thing. And it also fills my need to do music, which, that's the
Which is great. Yeah. And also, like, if you do, like, I don't know, if you write a song about a spooky cat or something like that, every kid's going to, like, lose their mind, laugh, and dance to it. If you write a song about heartbreak and how alone you feel, and the crowd has no response to it, that hurts.
It is fun, too, because there's not really a level of coolness when it comes to kids' music. Whereas, I think there are the scenes regardless of what's happening. There's who's in, who's out with younger. Obviously, I'm old, so not that. But, once you get older, you're not quite part of the whole hip scene, and you don't want to be. So it's like, even if the kids like it or they don't, you're like, well, that song worked really. Let's do a song about French toast, and the kids like it, and we have fun doing it. You get this great turnout. I'm selling 100, 200 kids show up at your show, and you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Hear us, or, you hear about kids going home and pretending to be Todd and Tina.
That's sweet. That's sweet. That's really cool.
I mean, that's pretty cool because they're not reading something on the internet while it's filming, so it's really cool because nobody in the right mind is going to be like, Well, then it's also fun because those that do pay attention seem to get these jokes inside songs, these little subtle, like more adult jokes or themes buried in there, and they're not.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's been a blast, and it's obviously the most success I've had with a band.
Well, because like if you're going to write like a new kids album, you're just trying to think of like what's gonna entertain. Whereas like if you were doing personal music, to me it's like, what pain did I experience recently that I now need to share, that I need to then put into song for the people to write. So it's like, write a song about a cat, write a song about a dog. I don't know, can that dog fly over the moon? Let's figure it out.
You know what's funny though? It's like, it's not even. I don't even sit around and think about like, what would a kid like? I'm like, oh, it's kind of funny to me, right? And I
yeah.
Like, oh well, it would be funny to do a song like we have a song called "Not Another Dinosaur Song." It's about how people want kids to play dinosaur songs. Well, we're not going to play another dinosaur song. Yet at the same time, it's called "Not Another Dinosaur Song." And the cool thing was we were able to get into the Science Museum in Minnesota to film a video.
Cool.
And like with the dinosaurs. So I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, so like the adults would enjoy the joke of "Not Another Dinosaur Song." And
that's awesome.
And the funny thing with that video is we filmed it, and then I actually had to run it by the Science Museum to make sure when we were saying Velociraptor, Pterodactyl, that we were pointing to the right dinosaur.
Of course, yes.
There's actually a scene where like Griffin's actually an Allosaurus or something like that. Like,
Yeah. That'd be the
That was
worst.
it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what's been fun, and it's just stuff. I mean, I have fun coming up with the songs, and it's
Yeah.
just because I do think there's something when you get older, you are not. I mean, there's a reason lots of bands that I love, their best work was in their 20s and early 30s, because I think the emotional upheaval in your life is a lot more conductive to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
When you get older, it's like, yeah.
Hopefully it's pretty steady. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even somebody like Bruce Springsteen, he gets worked up about stuff, but it's not the same as you're not going to get the
Yeah.
Born to Run. You're not going to get another Melancholy. I mean, anyway, married to me, oh, well, there's Dylan, which he could still pull it out, but that's because he's a wordsmith.
Yeah.
Right? And so,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, Leonard Cohen is able to do it too later in life. But
Yeah, but no one's getting Leonard Cohen. There's only one Leonard Cohen, and we all can agree on
Dylan
that.
and one Leonard Cohen, but I mean, something like The Killers, who I love, like,
Yeah.
they're not, they're going to get like here. Like, Brandon Flowers is going to get here.
Yeah.
He's not going to get
Yeah.
here. You're not going to get other than
No.
Mr. Brightside. Or
No. Yeah.
So you know, and it's just kind of or Gaslight Anthem too. It's like, although he's pushing it up there, Brian Traveler.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of those people. There's a reason when you're really young and passionate, and you feel like you got something to say, and then when you get up, you still love the craft, but you're also like, oh, I don't like.
A little different.
Well, yeah, I think it also ties into the whole like, well, you get the less confident. At least for me, the less confident I am on everything. So I'm like, I don't need to show up and tell you how to do things because
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. That I don't know if arrogance is the word, but it's like, no, this is how it needs to be done. And you're like, as you get older, like, actually, no, that's the way I feel comfortable doing it. That doesn't mean it's the way it needs to be done. It's just that's familiarity. That's not truth, you know?
Listening to Dylan's catalog the other day, and it's crazy to think he got his whole start as protest music, you know, blowing up.
Yeah.
Times are changing. And then by the time you go like my back pages, he's talking about, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. And then people, this is very impressive. It's saying that at, what was he, 24, 25, to just commit everything he thought because he became the person that he was protesting against. It's pretty amazing. And then it's even more amazing when you realize that's only on the first disc of a 3-song greatest hits.
Correct.
Yep. Right?
Very much.
Hey,
yeah.
I could go on and on about that guy.
There's a children's author named Bob Shea. He's based out of like Connecticut. You talking about your Not Another Dinosaur song. He has a kid's book about a sheriff, but the sheriff is obsessed with dinosaurs. So he goes into town to like wrangle up these bandits and stuff. And the bandits are like, we're the bandits. You're not going to get us. And he's like, actually, I'm looking for dinosaurs. And then he tricks the bandits into getting into jail by telling them about dinosaur facts. And like, it's such like you have like I love whenever you take like a pretty predictable plot of like, I'm going to tell you about a dinosaur. It's like, actually, I'm just going to turn it upside down a little bit and make it really silly. And like, then you're going to learn more about dinosaurs because I didn't come up about this and like the approach you predicted. So now you remember it more. It's like, I love that stuff.
I was thinking through the back door as opposed to just like, those are what you've got to learn now.
Yep, pretty much. So how I end every episode is I ask every guest a series of 5 questions. Just they're kind of fun, lighthearted, icebreaker questions. 5. You held up the correct number
You
of
should have
fingers.
done this at the beginning, right?
Right? Okay. So first question, did you have any backup names for your kids? Like, did you have anything that you almost named your kids?
I don't really. I mean, my son Levi was almost going to be Theodore, but it's more Alexi and Levi. So that way I had to stop at 2 kids because there's no more L names.
We're done. We're out of L names.
Like, what? Actually, there's L-E-X-I-L-E-V-I. Like, well, I was bloody. Like, I had no place to go.
Nice. Next question. Who's like your favorite TV or movie dad?
You know what I like is Flo from Modern Family.
Yeah, he's perfect. Yeah.
But he's pretty good. I like that. I mean, I think every dad likes to think they've got some Flo in them, but I probably don't. But I do like his Delusions of Grandeur and you know that. I want to be more and more to Al Bundy.
You know, Phil is actually one of the most common answers. It's because people are like, he's goofy, he's fun, he doesn't take himself too seriously, but he knows when to take himself seriously. So he's aloof, but like he also knows when not to be aloof. I think is like a more accurate depiction of a dad. It's like, I want to be dumb, I want to be fun, I want to be lighthearted, but also know when it's not the right time to do it.
No, exactly. I think he's a pretty good example of what dads want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But you're right.
We all fall short of philosophy, something like that. I don't watch that show forever, and then every once in a while I catch it on TV, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty like.
Yeah, it's good. But you're right, though. The reality is most of us are probably more Al Bundy. Come home, we're like, oh my God, what else do I have to do? What else do you need? Next question. Did you ever have a replacement curse word? Like whenever you would like stub your toe, you get mad about something. Did you just say the curse word or did you say something else instead?
Yeah, oh, I actually try not to curse around my kids, period.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
all. Like, every once in a while I hear my kids say something and I know it's that whole thing where they're trying to find their identity with their friends. And
Yeah.
'cause I just remember even back in the day, like if there's an F word on a tape or whatever, my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, you're
Yeah.
going to hell." But, I mean, now you hear it all the time in every Taylor Swift song. So no,
Mhm.
we don't even think about it. But
Yep.
I mean, obviously, when I'm by myself, things slip out. But it's just not out of my vocab.
Okay.
I'm just more like I'm not like
Yeah.
shucks. Darn.
I think I'm more prone to do sound effects. So I'm with you. As opposed to being like flippin' or frick, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah,
And that's what I say instead.
I probably say frickin' too much, but like, get out of the frickin' shower. You've been in there
Get out of the freaking shower.
in
Yeah.
30 minutes. This is ridiculous. You don't take the water. I do.
I'm not buying a new water heater so that you can still have hot water at minute
At
40.
least, people like to think they're full, but they're all and in the heart of hearts, every guy's Al Bundy.
Pretty much. Next question. What's like one of your favorite activities to do with your kids?
Actually, my daughter's got into running, so we've
Cool.
run marathons together. We actually are doing a 12-hour run together. So they
Nice.
start the clock at 8 a.m. and we run till 8 p.m. So
Whew.
that, and my son, he's a big sports guy, so we'll always play something. Video games I can't handle, but it got too complicated after 2 buttons. I was just so I just feel like you have fun doing that. But I mean, you can just go to a restaurant and I up there sitting
Yeah.
and talking to him lots of times.
Cool. Nice. What okay, so which Minnesota sports teams does he follow the most? Which ones does he care the most about? Which one breaks his heart the most often?
But right now it's the Timberwolves, and
Yeah.
we're long-suffering Vikings fans. So that's
Mhm.
expected. And while he's trying to get into hockey, but it's not
Okay.
speaking to him.
Yeah.
And the Twins, we gotta win something for us to care.
That's fair. I mean, living in Denver, I watched one of the sports franchises out here lose to a Minnesota
Yeah.
team, but I think people out here care more about the Avs than they do the Nuggets. Nuggets have a great fan base out here, but the Avs fan base, it's a different world.
Definitely. Yeah, no, he likes that. And actually, he even on Mother's Day, he even convinced my wife to take him to the Timberwolves game.
That's cool.
He's pretty silly, where he's just like, oh, Timberwolves aren't that bad. Like, he's like, we can go to the game, and he's 13, 14. And I was like, oh, it's probably too expensive. So you're like, actually, they're not that bad. And I've got SeatGeek right here, and $450.
Oh my gosh.
Would it be fun? Why do you want to go? It's called the atmosphere. I'm like,
Okay. Yep. Well, also, like, I think I'm now realizing, like, what does my wife want for Mother's Day? She wants an activity where all the kids seem to enjoy it and it's a happy experience. So if that's a basketball game, if it's a baseball game, if she has a moment in which she's not making decisions and everyone seems like they're content, that makes her happy on Mother's Day.
although I will say for Mother's Day, I keep saying, I'm like, I'm just going to let you enjoy the kids. I'm going to get out of the way. And with Father's Day, I'm like, leave me alone. I don't want to see it.
Leave me alone.
So,
Yep. Yeah. Your gift for Mother's Day is your children. I'll see you. I'm going to the bar. I'll be back.
I got a nap.
That's great. And then last question, like, if you had any form of like parenting advice, like what would it be? If you had like, hey, someone's about to be a dad, what would you tell them? Anything like that?
Probably don't overplan and keep an open mind.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you've got I'm lucky. My wife knows what she's doing. So that helps, as a dad. And I even say that even with my partner, Todd and Tina, where I realize the mom, to me, as much as I want to be involved, it's like a 35-65 split on a generous day. Like, and like all the stuff that comes home for reports and all that. My wife's the one that's like, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did you hear this thing? And, and that's where, like, as for Tarantino, like, she's the mom. So when I'm kind of like, well, why don't we play that show? I also respect that, like, okay, she's got a little more work at home than so
Yeah.
I'm the dad.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can show up and smile. My work here is done. Yeah, like, I think you plan and yeah, I don't know. You got to give kids the choice to figure out their own things.
Yeah.
It's weird because my daughter, for better or worse, for better or worse, definitely worse sometimes, is turning out to be much more carbon copy of me. You're gonna get lost.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I didn't mean to say that. But like with honey
Yeah.
and music, and my son is much more my wife's temperament.
Yeah.
It's much more laid back, go with the flow, and
Mhm.
we enforce these things. It just kind of is the way it
Yep.
fall, and
Yep.
you can't force it. And, at the same time, they're not done developing, so it'll probably change again.
Yeah. It will. Yeah. I always think of Ben Folds has a song called Still Fighting It. And I feel like the pre-chorus is like, you're so much like me. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And that has always resonated
Yeah,
with me.
and I mean, at the same time, you got to give them space, and you've got your visions of what you want them to do, but ultimately, it's their life, and it's
Yep.
kind of a weird realization to realize, like, we're just here to guide them for 18 years and let them into the world. Like, the idea of them living under a wing forever is not really the way it should be.
It's not. Nope. Nope.
Sometimes you're like, oh, it's sad, but I also advise the parents is to make sure to keep your own identity too, because you get
Yeah.
so wrapped up in your kids, and then like even the other night, my wife and I were able to go with friends we had before kids, and for a while, everything was with kids, and it's like, oh, we'll just go to dinner and shoot the boys for
Yeah.
3 hours. And because you
Yeah.
get so wrapped up and everything's the kids, we got to
Mhm.
get to soccer, we got to get to frisbee,
Mhm.
basketball, and it's like, moving on.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
extensions of us, but they are not us.
Correct. Yep. And also, I think your kids like want to see you have a hobby. They want to see you like have an identity outside of them. So like figure it out. Or it's prioritize yourself.
Yeah.
It's really hard to because you think by prioritizing yourself, you're damaging, you're hurting, you're taking away. And actually you're feeding and you're giving. And it's really hard to
Well,
believe it
I
sometimes.
noticed with
So.
like the Todd and Tina stuff, and when I was on the TV a lot with Little Caesars, it's even though they don't say it, I think in the back of your mind they're like, "Oh, cool! Like Dad's doing something." The crap he's thinking around with in the basement is making its way into the world, and
Yes.
like
Yeah.
they go show, and there's all these kids there, like, "This is my dad. Who's this clown?"
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it's like, oh, Dad's got other things to do, or like I do a lot of running events, and it's like, oh, like. They kinda know my dad from running too? Like, how what?
Yeah.
Dad is one who
Yep.
just yelling at us around the house?
Yep. I think it matters, man. I'm with you. And I think it then also gives more of like identity to like tell your wife about or tell your partner about. Because if you just like, if I'm in a rut of do this, do that, and it's just like plan it, I think it's easy to get bored and to get lethargic. And like hobbies are how you avoid some of that. And that keeps everything interesting. And to me, it guarantees better connection with people that you love.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than, like, sitting in a restaurant and seeing an old couple just sit in silence. And again, you don't
Yeah. Yeah.
you also say, well, maybe they had a rough day, maybe they're going through something, maybe
Mhm.
they just wanna sit in silence together, but then sometimes you just say, well, maybe they're just bored and they have nothing to say about.
Yep.
Again, it's like you project all these things onto other people, but the truth is you don't know
Yep.
what anybody's thinking or what they're going through. But
You
it's
don't
in
know.
my mind, I'm like, I don't want to be that person that has nothing. My
Mhm.
wife will still say I have nothing useful to say. Well, you shall still talk.
That's right. Yeah. I know a lot of words. Not many of them mean anything, but I can say a lot of them.
I don't like what exactly like give me 3 facts. I'll like bore her to death with this stuff, and she'll just be like, huh?
Yeah. Sounds good. And that's why you really need other friends. Because, yeah, my wife doesn't want to deep dive into a music scene that she didn't know existed. And then I'm trying to tell her every detail about it. And she's like, can you just find someone else who knows what any of these words mean? Please.
Like when I'm telling my wife about the Swedish black metal scene and how like randomness killed somebody in a church and burned it down, she's just like, what
Yeah.
are you talking about? They're like, no, it's not happening. It's just like,
It's
why do
great.
you care?
Yeah. Don't you notice all the Chicago references in Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness? It's littered with Chicago references. And she's just like, I don't know any of these songs. You haven't listened to this album for 30 years? No, I haven't.
Have you listened to any of the New Smashing Pumpkins?
No, I haven't. feel like I stopped with them in the early 2000s. Machina was probably the last album of theirs I really dived into.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like that. I've been a lifelong fan and I follow, but then when Billy starts making up words, it's just kind of like, just write your simple stuff. But they got to that point where he's an artist. He's got a vision, and it's not. He's obviously done something right. It's like when I sit around and I'm like telling my daughter how this Taylor Swift record could be better. I'm like, I think she's doing just fine without.
She is fine.
Yeah, I want the top are hitting quite the same number with this Taylor Swift.
Yep, pretty much.
Cool.
Right.
Thanks for having me on here. This is fun.
Yeah, of course. And then other thing is just like moment for self-promotion. So like, how do we find your music? Are you guys on like socials? How do we like your website? Anything like that?
Yeah, just check out toddandtina.com or go to Spotify or wherever you find streaming music, Apple, not to single anybody out.
Yeah.
Search for Something Rules. It's more everywhere. You can't miss us.
Nice.
Another 2-question interview.
No, I haven't. That'd be fun though.
Now that you have, how does it feel?
That's awesome. That's a phenomenal dad joke. Also, that's solid. That's well done.
Gosh, yeah, I know. I actually something the other day too. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a dad joke. Cool. Thank you for having me on, and let me know if you need anything else.
Cool. Will do. Thank you so much, Todd. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at the Imperfect Dads Podcast. And make sure to give us 5 stars wherever you listen to us. Music, editing, and production is all done by me. Make sure to tune in on Mondays and most Thursdays for new episodes. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to go to neverafacednetwork.com to learn more about them.